Look, today's story shows us that a quiet little girl chats away with a pup, and the man feels like he's just woken from a dream. This dad found the little girl not deaf or mute, yet silent for 2 years, even to her mum. Out of curiosity, he put a listening device on his dog and found a shocking secret. The robber 2 years ago targeted the little girl. The robber didn't just scare the little girl, but also threatened her to keep hush-hush, or she'd meet the Grim Reaper. After that, she was too spooked. Mom was devastated when she learned the truth, and the man seized the moment to promise her justice if she just collaborated with him. Ultimately, Mom deceived the robber with a forced smile, but the man remained unconvinced and gave her a calming shot. Just when it looked like all was well, a new problem popped up. The robber swapped their little cart for a sealed one. Is all the planning going to go up? With only 2 hours left on the clock, the man brushed aside the risks, bolted into the bank before the heist, and sniped the mob boss cash to frame the robber. He knew the robber had police backup, but figured the mob boss would be after them. This plan was just too perfect. Plus, he casually stuffed the explosives meant for the vault in. Unfortunately, clueless robbers hit the switch, and the tunnel flooded, while they thought they could swim back out. It was too late. The robbers' plan failed, and they prepared to flee at night. Meanwhile, 2 accomplices were stuck in the bank. Seeing the water rise, they sounded the alarm for survival. Soon, the police swarmed in. Meanwhile, the man disrupted the scene, washed off dirt, and wheeled out. Because top hunters often disguise as prey. He approached the police about the situation, saying his basement was flooded. After checking, they left, finding nothing unusual. But just when the first wave of cops left, here came the second. The man opened the door and was like, wow, it's the robber's boss. Turns out he was here to drag the woman into this mess. The robber started grilling the man about the woman's whereabouts, but the man vehemently denied it, saying she moved out days ago. The robber sensed something was off and ditched the act, decking the man and demanding to know where the loot was hidden, but the man wouldn't budge. Just as the robber was ready to shoot him, the man thought fast and shouted, throwing the robber for a loop. Since it was their first meeting, how could he know the names of the henchmen? The robber was momentarily suspicious, and the man pulled out an even bigger card. At this point, the henchmen were in chaos, so no explanation was given. Only the leader was left after the fierce fight. But for the man, with his limited mobility, the situation was no longer bearable. With no options left, the gunfire downstairs startled the woman upstairs. On learning the boss had tormented her daughter, she wanted to kill him herself. She picked up the gun and decisively dealt with him. Finally, all issues were resolved, but just then, the corrupt chief of police showed up, unfazed by the heap of corpses. The chief even pitched in to clean up the bodies. What's going on? Is this an elaborate cover-up? The chief began questioning the man about the whereabouts of the loot, clearly suspecting it was hidden with him. But the man earned that money with his life. There's no way he'd spilled the beans. Yet, the chief wasn't playing fair. She threatened him to hand over the loot or else she'd threaten the lives of the mother and daughter. With no other option, the man was forced to reveal the hiding place. But just as the chief was ready to grab the cash and bail, her blood sugar dropped suddenly, and she urgently reached for some cookies nearby, even planning to take a few to go. However, driving, she suddenly felt dizzy. It turned out the cookies were laced, intended for the man's aging dog's demise. In the end, it was the chief's unexpected last meal. Despite struggles, he regained lost happiness and family. He lay in the snow, locked onto his rifle, and a bang later, a distant wolf fell. Corey, the best hunter in Snowy Land, went hunting today and stumbled upon bloody footprints. She quickly pulled out her weapon, cautiously following the prints, and before long, she discovered a body. But what shocked the deceased was her friend's daughter Tolly, just 18. Seeing Tolly's pale face, Corey felt mixed emotions. A similar tragedy had befallen her own daughter back then, and Corey was furious. But as a father, she never found the real killer, as if the universe hadn't given her a moment's peace. Here, in this remote Indian reservation, help from the outside is a rarity. When murder occurs, they generally have to fend for themselves. Corey took out her radio and reported the body discovery to the local Indian police, only to be met with an intern showing up. Corey and the sheriff seemed used to this, showing no surprise at all. Based on her preliminary assessment and a suspected murder, since Tully's home was a solid 30-minute drive away, there was no way a teenage girl could have run barefoot in such freezing temperatures for that distance. Corey analysed the footprints at the scene and deduced that Tully had been fleeing from somewhere right to this spot. Her cause of death stemmed from running in the extreme cold, leading to pulmonary hemorrhaging and ultimately drowning in her own blood. Shockingly, there were signs of multiple sexual assaults on the body, indicating that if this were murder, the killer was likely not acting. Regardless, Tully's death, as Corey suspected, was due to prolonged running in the cold, which didn't necessarily mean it was murder. Anna was furious. She came to confirm the girl's death cause, then report back for federal team dispatch. Now that the cause was not declared murder, the FBI wouldn't send anyone, so she wanted the coroner to sign the report.